You see that? That right there is the brand new replica we purchased on the HopUp app. And we're going to take a first look and quotations unboxing together. This is a little series I do every time that I purchase something used. Before we do a full cinematic review video, we take a look at the replica, make sure it functions correctly, showcase any problems that it has when it comes out of the box, and make sure that it's as said in the description of the post. Now, this one isn't in a box because I'll explain it after we get it onto the table. Why don't we drag it into frame? You see that? It's a VFC MP7, or at least I believe it's a VFC. That's what it was labeled as. And I got this for 150 cans used. Is that not ridiculous? Now, a small disclaimer, a part of this video that we do every time that we do one of these is we actually unbox it on film and we see what it comes in and we see how it was packaged, and that's part of the fun. Now, unfortunately, I can't do that, and there's a reason for this. And I wasn't home at the time, but my wife took the box in, and the box was covered in ants. Sorry, it was covered in ants. It was inside of a box that was used to store 60 eggs, like 60 like chicken eggs. And I'm assuming there was egg residue on it, and it just was like disgusting. It came in a couple pieces. The can is something that I put on later on, just because I was diddling with it after it was out of the box because I couldn't help myself. Usually I wait until we unbox together. The stock was out, the mag was out, and the body, and it was just thrown in there with some paper. And I wasn't around to take pictures, and I didn't want to waste the time because, like it was said, it was covered in ants. And it was also a little bit sticky, so I went ahead and wiped it down with isopropyl alcohol. So the packaging was some of the worst that I've ever seen. Now you're probably wondering how I managed to get this at such a steal. It was originally posted at a larger price, and I had read the description because it said that it was for parts, or it was like semi-boneyard. And the reason that the seller had it up for semi-boneyard was because he said the BBs, when shot, are just rolling out of the barrel and there's no power behind them. And I said, I'll give you 150 beans and I'll take all the risk and I'll try and sort through and see what the problem is. So when it came in, I wiped it down and I took it apart and I started looking at a couple things. And the things that I looked at is the HopUp set, which if you don't know, the HopUp dial is up in the front. And also these come with an end pass. So I checked on the barrel and the HopUp wasn't set. So I figured, that doesn't necessarily matter. If the HopUp isn't set, it's not going to do much, but it's not going to roll out of the barrel. But then I checked the end pass. And the end pass was set at an all-time low. And I think the combination of the two was causing the BBs to run straight through with, just rolling out of the barrel. I literally shoot it, and then he said he tilted forward and it rolled out of the barrel. So I set the end pass, and it works. I mean, I only shot one mag through it, but it works. You can see a little bit of the sticky residue that's still on it. I thought I got that off. Okay. So yeah, sometimes you just got to take that leap of faith, and I was willing to do a little bit of diddling around. I'm going to show you a part on the inside of this, like the nozzle. It could use a new nozzle, and they're pretty cheap, like 12 bucks. But yeah, super cool. So now I am an owner of what I believe to be not the KWA and not the Tokyo Marui or the WE. This is the VFC MP7, which I believe is a little bit harder to source, and also, from my understanding, the more expensive and also the better of the grouping. I don't know yet how to tell if this is like a version 1 or a version 2. I know some of the version 1s had base plate problems, so we're going to check that all out before we do the review video, and then you can leave me any comments below that you want me to mention, or do you think that I missed, or if you want to share any information on this platform. I've been looking into picking one of these up for a little while. I actually saw one at a swap meet, and the guy had a bunch of mags for it, but it went like $450, and to be honest with you, I didn't want it enough that I was willing to spend a ton of money. And if it runs well, I might pick up some extra mags. I know these mags are pretty readily available. Okay, so the VFC MP7. So as you can see, it's an MP7. It functions as such. Now, I do know the VFC is 2-spec size-wise. It should be real steel size. It should be the larger of the two in comparison with the other popular variant, the KWAs, which are a little bit smaller and not perfectly to spec. You can see the stock is pretty solid, actually. A little wobble when extended. It's got two positions, a little bit further extended and a little less extended. And then the only other position is closed. When it's closed, it's actually rock solid in there. It's going nowhere. It cycles, or at least feels like it cycles. The bolt moves pretty smooth. The safety does function. And when we toss it into the fire, semi, it works as intended. Just kind of looking at the trigger. Reset's a little mushy. You can't really feel any particular release of the hammer or anything like that. And then auto should function. Yeah, so it seems everything functions just as it should. This is your bolt catch and bolt release. And all of the... Interesting. There we go, okay. So everything is ambidextrous, which is really cool. And it looks like we got a couple different like sling attachment points. This is, I assume, just from Chrono, from whatever game the person who previously owned this was at. Looking through the entire thing, this is the first time like I'm giving like a full like look down. I just made sure it worked and cleaned it off. And it doesn't look like we have any cracking or anything like that. These are just the mold lines. I do want to say that the mold lines here are like very prominent. They're very visible. So that's not like a great thing. I think, yeah, okay, so the barrel is aluminum, which is nice to see. At first glance, it looks plastic just because it matched the same color tone as the body. The entire thing is polymer, as you'd expect. The HopUp dial is up in the front, which is really cool. I'm a big fan of these easily accessible HopUp dials. And it does click. So, I'll show you what I looked at. When you do take this entire thing down, you know, first what we'll do actually... Like I said, I kind of did some of these things already just because I was diddling around with it. We'll make sure this guy holds gas. And it does. No problems. And why don't we just make sure it fires. No problem. BB's shooting off the backdrop and flying all over my house. But that's really cool to see. It's got this cool like ching 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 noise, and I actually think I figured out what like the reason for that is. And we'll take it down so I can show you. So if you just pull this lever up, you can get it past all of its locking points. Then you have to pull this side up at the same time, and the whole thing will come out. So when you take the stock off, you gotta be careful because it is a little bit bendy here. It's not a problem when the stock is installed, but obviously you don't want to snap it out of the plastic base. I'm going to do some cleaning and stuff on this too as I start to take it apart. We'll pop these two pins out now, just 1 and 2. You should be able to get them out by hand. Should. If not, maybe I'll get something to push them out with. I was able to get them out by hand before. There we go. I think that's enough. Come on. Maybe like a plastic tool I could pry those out. There we go. Now we're talking. And then the base plate slides off. And then kind of like any of your ARs, you'll see that the blowback housing is connected to the charging handle up at the top. These will come apart. It's got this spring buffer here. Then you have your spring and guide rod. And like I said before, I don't know if you could see it, this is the nozzle. And I adjusted the end pass, but that little like split piece, the spine that goes in the middle of the part of the nozzle that connects to the gas router, a small portion of it chipped off. It's supposed to be flush with the base, but it's not anymore. I don't know if that's going to cause any problems per se, but I could always replace the nozzle. And that ching ching noise that's very familiar with the VFCs, and it's one key way that you can tell it's a VFC, if you've listened to them over the KWAs, that noise comes from the nozzle slamming back into the housing every time the bolt reciprocates. Ready, listen. It's got like a ching noise. I don't really know how they managed to do that. And then the HopUp, you can see there's a BB in there. But the HopUp I just adjusted with that little tool. We'll go ahead and take this thing down like all the way. Down the road when I do like a full review on this thing. And I believe the larger of the two heads goes into the rear of the bolt for stability purposes. This guy goes here, and then it closes down like that. It's a very simple system, but I do know that a lot of people are big fans of this platform, not just because it's an MP7, but I think, from my understanding, it's like one of the best out-of-the-box functioning SMGs available. And obviously we're going to test that. I've heard a lot of really good things about this one, and even the KWA. So I'm really, really, really excited to dive into this platform. It's very popular, we'll put it that way. Bang. Really cool. Really cool. I also want to see really quickly, because I just like hand fed a couple BBs into this. I would love to see if it can feed with the T238 loader. Because if it can, that's huge. That'll make all of my filming endeavors and all of my gameplay endeavors so much easier. Let's see if we can't fill it with the T238. Well, that's pretty easy. Got a little ways to go. Didn't totally fill. So you kind of stop there. There it goes. Okay. Dropping BBs again. See, it's just not filling like all the way. I don't know if it's because like the curved position. It doesn't usually have like an issue just because it's like a banana shaped mag. It does well with the PPK20 from WellPro. Yeah, it's not the best at doing that. I might just have to pull the follower down and do it. Notoriously, that makes it so much easier. Get that BB out. Pull this way. Cool. There you go. Yeah, I might just have to pull the follower down, which isn't the biggest of deals. I just don't think the gear pressure is strong enough. It surprises me sometimes, but other times it just chooses not to work. Sometimes it just doesn't prefer other replicas. And of course the can. This is my modify can off of my PP2K. I just thought it looked good because it didn't come with any thread protector. Throw that back on. I did throw an O-ring at the base of that just to avoid like the over tightening. Cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this thing down. I'm going to re-lubricate it. We'll start to get a video ready. If you have any insight on this that you think it would be valuable for me to know before filming with this would be great. If there's any upgrades that you know that are going to be necessary, if you could tell if this is a V1 or a V2, that would be cool. I don't know if there's anything specific. I'm going to start diving into the heavy recoil Discord as well, and I'll start to kind of get an idea. But for now, we are finally a part of another popular platform, which is not normal on this channel. I don't tend to do a lot of popular platforms, but the VFC MP7. Really cool. I'll catch you guys in the next adventure, and I'm sorry I couldn't get that unboxed like on camera. I just wasn't bringing ants into the house, and I didn't have the ability to do it right away. Would have been funny though. I'll catch you in the next adventure. Peace.